And what lessons or lesson did you learn about starting or owning your own business that you wish someone would have told you beforehand?
Save up more money.
It's 24 hours a day.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't have any days off.
If we talking about a work day, you know how people say 40 hours. As somebody that runs their own business, you are going to work way more than 40 hours.
Yeah.
So just, you got to keep that in mind. Money is key. Whether you've gotten business loans or investments, or you saved it up yourself, it's really damn near never enough.
Talk about the importance, as you all can speak to it as being entrepreneurs, about the importance of a team and how much structure helps when you're
depends.
Trying to.
I mean, everything isn't ran by a team.
That's fair.
To be honest, it will. If you do have a team, it makes it a lot easier.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah,
because you're not responsible for every little thing, and that's what can drain you from owning your own business, is having to be the face, the producer, the buyer, the everything, the banker. You know what I'm saying? When you have to do everything,
right?
Then the passion that you had for doing this starts to diminish because you don't want to do all those other steps.
Yep.
Not fun as fun as it was.
It's not fun when you got to do all the other stuff that you didn't really want to do. I mean, I can't say you didn't sign up to do it, because you did as a business owner, but once all those things come into play and over time, it drains you and you literally don't have any energy to even do the main thing that you jumped into it for. Like, I don't know when the last time I just sat down and just designed like something.
Too much stuff going on.
It's just
it's the same with bringing on the band. I don't remember the last time I've sat down and just listened to music for enjoyment.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I ride in the car with silence a lot of times here lately, honestly.
I don't go out and seek it, but even I remember I did something. I posted something on Instagram. It was like a repost once, and it was along the lines of like, you don't have to monetize all of your things that you love to do.
Yeah.
And I truly feel that way. And somebody was in the comments like, yeah, you do, make it a business. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. I was like,
that person doesn't understand.
You blame that on Jay-Z when he said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Because say you love to play video games and you found a way to stream on Twitch and it gets you a little bit of money. The thing is, then you have to set up a schedule and do that every single time at the same time.
Once it becomes a job.
Because then if you decide, oh, I'm not going to do it sporadically, or I'm going to take some time off, then your spot is given up to somebody else. They're going to try to get that content somewhere. Like I remember there was when some of my favorite podcasts, or people that I listen to, when they take a week off, I find something else to listen to, and sometimes I don't come back.
Yeah,
like I used to really
consistency is super important.
The people
love
that are
the
most
Brilliant
consistent,
Idiots, and like they took a week or something off or two, and then I found something else to watch when I listened to. When I was
I have not listened to the Joe Budden podcast since him and Rory and Maja broke up.
I still listen.
I haven't listened to none of them.
I'll just be honest. I said this, I think, when we talked about it on the show. Joe is the lead singer.
But
y'all in the raid.
Yep. The other thing was, did you guys have a business plan before you started? And
the business plan was to do it. I mean, I wrote some of it down.
Yeah.
But I didn't come up with a whole organized structure.
Yeah.
I just kind of planned a lot of things in my mind and executed them.
I think it depends, because I've essentially started two businesses. Bringing on the Band was one, and then we could say the New Old Heads is one, kind of, even though it's kind of part of it, but it is separate. But and then Drums Bang, when I did that whole thing. Drums Bang, I did it all by the book. I had a business plan. I did the whole thing. And I will say that a business plan, even though it's like cumbersome, or it seems like it's cumbersome, I do think it's good to have like that direction to focus on and to really find like the profit points, especially if your business is like kind of abstract or it's kind of super nuanced, or if it's like, you're doing like t-shirts and stuff. So you have a target, you know what you're doing. Like you don't need a huge drawn out business plan, but when it's like abstract and, sometimes it's important to kind of have stuff like that, in my opinion. Now the New Old Heads, like, to Terry's point, because he mentioned, I just want to mention this real quick. He mentioned, you know, like the amount of work that you do if you know, like the stuff people don't see is the amount of work that I put in on, like, specifically me, that I do specifically for this show. Like this last week was, especially because TikTok was popping off and everything, like a lot of times I don't finish editing all the clips till like Saturday, which is a long, and I start,
it's a daunting task.
And I start literally as soon as the show goes off. So it's like edit, and we're getting processes put into place to, you know, so it's like a lot faster. But like the amount of work to be consistent on shit, because consistency is super important, it's just a lot. And I would say find a team and figure out how to delegate. That was one of the things that I've always personally struggled with, is like, how do I delegate? How do I bring more people in? And how do I trust people to do things and let them kind of take ownership in their own type of way and stuff like that. So to me, it's like sometimes when you create your own thing, you kind of want to have like a super hard grasp on it, because it's kind of your thing. You kind of have to be able to open up and let other people take control of it and turn it into their own thing too. Otherwise, you know, you can't do stuff by yourself. I literally don't think you can. You know, like I said, I do a lot of stuff, but we all do stuff on the show. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, me personally, like right now it's like ridiculous.
It's draining.
And it does. It gets super tiring, and you know, there's times that I can't.
Terry's point, which obviously you can speak to as well, about how much it takes out of you when you start off doing something that you really love, and as the tasks, as they start to mount, it pulls away from the joy. To me, that's the biggest statement.
It's learning, and I think that the solution to that is to learn how to delegate.
Right.
Learn how to like let people own certain things. Because there was a time where, I mean, we talked about topics like, you just handle it now. Like, you handle the topics. I don't, and it's great because I don't even have to think about it. I want more things where I don't have to think about it. Like, I gave Terry the card to do the Patreon. That is like crazy. It's like I don't want to do that. You know. Like the stuff that we're doing with the you know, Red August hasn't been on the show for what, 5 weeks now.
4 or 5, I think. Yeah.
So it's 5 weeks, but it's part of that is I was able to do a lot of stuff built into the live show recording so that we don't have a lot of post edits, you know, so it's like building stuff out so like we can make our processes better. And so
a lot of people ask about
less time consuming.
Yeah. A lot of people ask about our show, just, you know, people that, in casual conversation, and say, man, how is it that you guys were able to go this long, and how is it that you guys are able to, you know, tweak it and get better here? I remember what it looked like when you started, and now I see with the graphics and, you know, the things that you guys are doing. And I tell them what you just said about how much of a team concept it is in order for it to work. Now, I said there are people that, like, I always use you as a reference. Like, I always tell them, I say, you have no idea what Sean actually does once we're off, and what it takes in order to get that to what you all see. I said, but we all play certain roles in order for it to become what it is. And if you don't have that, you'll just be running around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to put product out.
I mean, I just play executive producer roles, just what 100%. I do. And that's really 100%. All it is, you know, like, and eventually, hopefully this stuff can be delegated. I feel like we're in a, because hopefully we can launch our new, the way the whole show's going to
format.
Yeah. By episode 300 is the goal. Yeah. So hopefully that's going to help. My goal with this stuff is to make it so you guys don't even need me on the show. But my goal is for everything to be, I mean, not that I want not to be a part of it, but I want it to be interchangeable.
Yeah.
I don't want it to miss a step if anybody's not here. So that's the long-term goal of everything. But
you're the only person that has not missed the episode.
Well, I missed 2.
Did you miss 2?
Well, I guess technically I didn't, but we didn't have them when I got married, right?
Well, but I'm talking about.
But we couldn't even have the show because I was gone.
There we go.
Right?
We go. To your point as to what we're talking about. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So that's part of it. You know, like it's just continual work. I think the biggest thing is like, it's not just working, like showing up and shooting stuff. Like, it's important to have time, to what Terry was talking about, to be able to design, to be able to work on the stuff inside of the business that's going to help it grow and to be able to do those things. Because if you don't have the
coming
time,
up with ideas, even.
yeah, like
it's
if Terry is only fulfilling orders, then he's got no time to like focus on what his website wants to look like or to come up with new crazy cool ideas that is going to turn into business. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the same way I look at pretty much everything that I do. And that's why I put so much extra time into the show that I do, because I know that it's just like, I know like we have to have that continual thing. And there was
a machine essentially.
It is. Yeah. It is. And there was a time, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a time with the show where I didn't want to take like a leadership role on it. It was just kind of like everybody kind of doing stuff. And I remember Brad came to me one day and he was just like,
shout out to the homie Spools.
And Spools was like, he's like,
text Spools back, man.
He was like, you're like the leader of the show, right? He's like, you're that person. I was like, yeah, I try not to be. He's like, yeah, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
you have to know how to delegate. That's the whole problem with.
And I have a hard time with
things. Not you in general,
but I do.
But
just overall,
for something to run, there has to be a pecking order.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a structure. So the whole problem with a lot of things today, what people lack is knowing how to fall into place and be a part of the structure, rather than trying to just be king of the hill all the time.
It's one thing to delegate properly. It's another thing to accept your role and embrace it. Right. Because I'm not saying it's easy to delegate, but you can. But if said person doesn't embrace their role, then we right back to where we started.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's slippage here, there's slippage there. So, all of those things go into it.
Yeah.
In order for it to be successful.
Yeah, it's more complicated with more people, but it's also better.
Yeah.
And it's more enjoyable. Like bringing down the band actually started to grow when Terry came on.
Yeah.
Because Terry was super interested in the same stuff that I was, and so we were like, "Cool, let's do this." And then we grow, and then and then we brought Brendan on, and we brought David Peck came on for a little bit, and
Mike
Spitz, wrote for a while, and DJ 𝗀𝗲𝗄 even has an article on there from way back.
Shout out to the homie DJ 𝗀𝗲𝗄, man.
But yeah, teamwork is hard, but sometimes, especially if I've had this conversation with Metronome.
Yeah.
It's hard being a small business owner because you just feel the pressure of not wanting to burden people on stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to delegate stuff. Like you have to be able to know how to do that stuff.
It'll help in the long run.